Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, sweet dreams. I love you. Welcome to Business Over Drinks. Before we start the episode, I thought I'd quickly announce the giveaway for this episode, which is being generously given by our special guest Fil Cristaldi, the managing director of Studio Culture. So this giveaway is worth 4,000 Australian dollars. Just imagine 4,000 gold coins just being sprinkled all over you, just everywhere. That is the value of this prize. So what is it? It's a social media audit. So basically what will happen is Fil Cristaldi and his team of professionals will look at your social media marketing and tear it apart. No, they won't, but they'll look at the social media that you or your company is doing and kind of give you insights into how you can potentially improve, or how you can kind of 10x what you're doing, or how you can really generate more sales, leads, inquiries, brand awareness, whatever it is you want to do with your social media. They can help you, and they've worked with huge brands in the past. I'm sure they can have something very insightful to say about what you're doing right now for your social media. So how do you win? Well, listen in on the podcast. You'll find out how. That's it. See you later.
One. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Business Over Drinks. My name is Terng, and I'm calling in from Singapore.
And my name's David. I'm calling in from Brisbane, Australia. And I'd like to introduce to you our special guest, Mr. Fil Cristaldi. He is the managing director of Studio Culture, which is a company that I used to work with. It's
Work with or
multi-award
work
winning.
in?
Work in.
In and
Work
around.
in. I started drinking rum already, man. Just leave me alone. Anyway, back to Studio Culture. Multi-award winning, ultra awesome, still going even without me. Maybe doing even better without me.
Definitely doing better without
So,
you.
Phil.
Well, how's it going? Thank you.
Hey, nice to have you on, Phil.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Hey,
Big fan of the show.
Thank you. Phil is the only person to have listened to all of our episodes so far. Not even my
Yeah.
What do I
parents have
win?
listened.
What do I win?
Oh, yeah. My mom doesn't listen to this either. She's just like, yeah, wants to listen to you again. So I hate your voice. No, but maybe Phil, what we usually do is we have our guests kind of do a little bit of introductions for themselves, because we tend to undersell our guests a little bit, like, meet that guy who did this, or like in Dave's case, he was just like, meet this guy, don't know who he is, whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't do
Random
any
off the
research.
street.
Yeah. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, I guess, yeah, as you said, I'm Fil Cristaldi. I'm now the sole managing director of Studio Culture. It's a creative digital marketing agency based in the city in Brisbane. My LinkedIn just said yesterday that I've crossed 9 years under that name. So it's been a long time coming. It's pretty much all I do these days. We're a small team of 10, I think it is. And yeah, we're still working from home and looking forward to coming back to the office in a couple of weeks as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
So this is recorded in the time of COVID-19, so in June. So just in case people are listening to this in the future and they want to know why Phil's under lockdown. Anywho, yeah, it is. Yeah,
And he's grounded.
Yeah, yeah. So Phil still lives with his folks. No, I'm joking. He doesn't.
Mom.
I don't want to put that out then and get in trouble. Yeah. So tradition on the show is maybe we introduce what we've been drinking as well, so everybody kind of knows. Dave, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so tonight I'm drinking Bundaberg rum, and this whole room now smells like high school. It's just and bad memories.
Gangs.
But yeah, that's me.
Oh,
How
nice.
about you guys?
Phil, what about yourself?
I've got Kraken. It's my new favorite drink that I've been drinking for the last
Oh,
couple
wow.
months.
That's rum as well, yeah?
Spiced rum. It's amazing.
I think I'm going to buy that because Phil recommended, if you listen to some of our previous episodes, I mentioned Canadian Club, which Phil recommended to me. Yes, so I'm going to try that out for sure.
Definitely try it.
Nice. I'm representing, well, I don't know what I'm representing.
Representing.
I'm drinking a San Miguel Lite. I take that entire sentence back. I'm not representing anything. I'm just drinking a San Miguel Lite, and I'm doing it Asian style, so ice in a glass and just beer poured over it.
That's the way. That's the way.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, so Dave, why don't you start off with the questions, man? I know you known Phil for a very long time.
Yeah, I've known Phil since, well, we were talking about it before. Was it 2 decades, maybe over 1 decade ago?
Possibly,
Him and
yeah.
I started a t-shirt business called Mikaru Fashion, and we'd sell custom t-shirts to businesses and also our own designs to consumers. And
Yeah.
from then, we've gone to know each other. And Phil was starting this business called Studio Culture, um, as a one-man operation. And then it grew. Then Joe joined. Then I joined in, and the three of us kind of grew Studio Culture. So now you're running it on your own. We've kind of
Yep.
let you down, or maybe you're
You
relieved
bailed.
to have us go. But maybe the first question is, what's the business like after the partners leave? Well, yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, just to
Extremely
give
stressful.
sorry, Phil, just to
Yep.
give some context as well, because in case people aren't aware that,
Yeah.
so Phil used to have two, I would say, is it safe to say co-founders?
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Yeah,
all business partners. Yeah.
yeah. So Dave and another person called Joe Fox. So, both Joe and Dave have left Studio Culture for whatever reason. Dave probably because he was kicked out, but whatever. We're not gonna speculate. But so that's in relation to the question. Hey, thanks for setting it up really well, Dave. Appreciate
Yeah. Good
it.
background.
As you can see, I'm a professional running a very professional podcast.
Done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was extremely difficult, especially both partners leaving within 6 months of each other, I think it was. So pretty much within the same year. So that in itself was extremely difficult. I mean, yeah, it's always great to have full control of a business, but it's also very stressful to have full control of a business and no one else to rely on and kind of bounce ideas off. So it's both good and bad, but I think it's just a process to kind of review how you do things because three business partners had a third of the business and managing a third of the business each, and two of them leave, you can't run the business the same way. So everything you do and know has to be completely different to how it was before because you can't manage just a third of the business and let the other 2/3 do nothing. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
control it all, adjust everything you know, change everything you know, and kind of push forward. And then thankfully COVID hit, it changed everything so much better. Perfect.
And that's why he's drinking a full bottle today.
Yeah.
Every day.
That was a full bottle before we started. No, so I mean, it sounds like you basically pivoted quite a bit of your business, right, when both of them left. And I was wondering, right? So how were you able to speak to your customers and make sure that they understood what was happening? Because obviously, while your customers will understand what's going on, I'm not certain that they would actually care that you're going through this stuff. They just want to see results. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a balance of a bit of everything. So it just depends the relationship we had with each client. Some were actually really understanding and kind of offered support and help with the change. And like they were generally the smaller ones, but some of the bigger ones either were mad and angry or were okay with it because it just depends on the relationship with the client. Some clients had a relationship with just the staff members only most of the time. So that was an easy transition. But some had a very tight relationship with either Dave or Joe at the time. So that was a lot harder to win over. It was just, some of them had never even heard of who I was at the time because it wasn't part of the business. So it was kind of like a lot of face-to-face time, a lot of phone calls, a lot of kind of reintroducing, reevaluating, reassessing. But also, it was also really good because me being an outsider, they didn't know who I was. I could approach them honestly and be like, this has happened. This has all changed. Now is a good time to kind of start fresh and reevaluate everything and any feedback you have from how it was previously. Now is a great time to reassess that and change that going forward. So from that point of view, it was kind of really good as well. But yeah, when we had like 40, 50 clients, there was just a variety of different
Oh wow. Okay.
issues and scenarios and different role plays and all that side of things.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I love how you communicated with all the clients and kind of reintroduce yourself. I think that's a really good approach to it. What do you think? So what was going through your mind as a checklist of, priority to most prior to the most urgent to the least urgent? And how do you, like, looking back upon it now, is there anything you would do differently or improve upon?
Like first off is just don't cry, stop drinking.
Okay. First
Stop
of all,
drinking, all right?
first of all, that's not possible. We're all gonna cry and we're all gonna drink. Everybody knows that.
Internally, it always happens.
Any agency related business, right?
Yeah,
Just
pretty
cry.
much.
No, I think the only thing that I would have done differently is just do things a bit faster. I think I kind of waited a bit too long on doing things, or kind of hoped they would play out in different ways. I think I would have just done things a bit faster or acted a bit sooner. But yeah, you learn as you go along and understand that you did your best as you could, because there was so much part of the business. Like clients was just one part, but then managing staff and their insecurities with what's happening with the business, but then also managing new, like Joe was our only sales guy, so managing new business coming in as well, then financials and dealing with all the legals and stuff of two partners leaving. Like there was so much to do. It was a very stressful period, but yeah, you just gotta take it as you come, do the best you can.
Oh, nice. This is a tough question. You don't have to answer it, but who did you regret more when they left? Was it Dave or was it Joe? No, don't answer. Don't answer that. So we'll let him cut it out, because I'm assuming Dave's gonna cry. He's gonna cry when you answer.
Don't cry.
We'll let him cut that part out. So I'm really curious, right? Because they left within 6 months of each other, right? Like you mentioned managing the staff was tough. I mean, what were some of the things that you did to really help your staff as well? Because that's really important. People don't seem to realize that as an entrepreneur, you're actually not only dealing with your own issues, you're dealing with everyone's issues, because it all kind of filters down to you in some way.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of alcohol involved.
I'm noticing that's a trend. Even before. I'm just noticing that's a trend, man.
I mean,
and crying.
It helps with things. I think like we have a bit of a cool culture in the office where we've always been, even when Joe and Dave were there, we're always very open with how we run the business and kind of open to like the back end of the business as well. So we're always very close. It was like a lot of having one-on-ones with every staff member individually, as well as kind of as a team or as a groups and different people, and kind of just restructuring it. So it was a lot of communication, obviously, but it was just kind of at the time the culture got really shook. Obviously, like 2 people leaving, and we actually had like a bad employee as well. So the whole culture was completely shook and destroyed. So it was a lot of effort to rebuild that culture and do that. But during that process, kind of really brought everyone together and kind of made it really great. And towards the end of the year for Christmas, we all went away for a weekend to a beach house. One of the staff had a beach house. So we all went away for a couple of days and just had like really good team bonding, caught up, was very open with everything. Whenever any question they had, I would always answer very honestly. And I think that just built that trust back. And now that we're working from home, it really shows how well that's kind of played out. That the culture still carries through, even though we're not seeing each other for the last 3 months.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, just on that, I know Terng's business model is similar now in that most of you guys work remotely. And that's worked excellently for Terng. He's been able to scale across a few different countries. Phil, I know we all started off with an office format. Are you merging now into a remote type of business, or are you going to stay that way? Or
oh man, like I was the person that was always like, never work from home. Everyone has to be in the office 9 to 5, and I need to see everybody and all that. That was always me. But obviously this has forced us into work from home. And now like when we go back, we will be doing split days. So we'll have like 2 or 3 days in the office and then 2 days at home. So going forward, we will have split rosters. So I think we'll be doing that going forth. Like there's even options to get rid of the office altogether and work somewhere else. So options are open. And the fact that we even hired someone during this period that I never even met in real life surprised me, and it's working out really, really well as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, no.
Because how do you find it, like hiring people? Like, because you're remote now, have you hired anybody during?
Oh yeah. So we hired teams of contractors, and then I've hired a couple of interns as well. Usually we just look at output, man. Like because in terms of culture, if they can handle a conversation with me across a couple of calls, that means they're going to fit in pretty well. Because I'm probably the most abrasive, and then everyone else is just really nice. So it filters down, like, oh, thank God I'm talking to you, not him anymore. So it's really easy. I'm the stress test for everything. So but basically it's the only thing that I found that the main thing, not the only thing, but the main thing that really helps really is if you keep an open line of communication, because I think as a boss and as a leader, oftentimes we're kind of doing our own thing, right? We're pushing things forward.
Yeah.
Everybody sees what's happening, but when it's in a remote structure, it's communication. It's constant communication, because they don't see what you're doing. They don't see you spending 20 hours in a office type thing. Sorry, I pulled the 20 hours from you because I was listening to your podcast and you kept on talking about how when you first started it was 20 hours. You're working from home for 2 weeks, like 20 hours, wake up, work, nap, then work again.
Good times.
Yeah. I was just wondering, right, how you and Dave work together so closely as well, because I'm not going to tell a story. I'm not going to tell a story about Dave meditating all the time, but he'd close his eyes, he'd meditate for a little bit, and then you'd hear really light snoring.
I was in that room as well. We used to meditate together.
Phil and I. Well, the reason how I started meditating was from Phil and Joe. We paid someone to teach us their own process of meditating, and then he'd come every week, and then he'd teach us.
This just sounds like you guys had group naps.
It's a cult.
It was like the calmest cult in the world. It was just like, guys, just let's have a nap together.
Just cry and a nap and then cry.
I can see how you guys work together, because the crying and the drinking and the napping seems to be quite a consistent trend.
It's just a vicious cycle.
Damn straight it is. So Dave, you wanted to speak to Phil, right? Because now technically we're reaching the end of the lockdowns, and while COVID-19 still isn't over, maybe the first wave and the first spike is kind of dying down a little bit, right? So what's next, maybe?
Yeah, sorry, just to add to that first though, what's your reasoning behind going more mobile, whatever the term is, less in the office based, more dispersed? Yeah,
so working remote. I think literally what Terng was saying is that I have now learned to measure the output rather than just kind of the hours at the desk. So actually, we lost a lot of clients during that period, but the ones who did stay, the team have performed amazingly well with every client that has stayed over the last 3 months. So the output in itself has been phenomenal and better than it has been in the office. So I think that in itself was maybe we can do this going forward, and it's not a big deal. And I think even going back to the office is learning how to measure output and not just kind of in your face performance. So it's kind of reevaluating how I used to manage, because I was just always a manager. I was always about leading by example. And if I can't be in front of someone to show example, then how do I lead? It was more of a me issue than a them issue. It was just more me understanding how to change in how I manage and lead in a remote way.
Nice. Okay.
Sorry to add to this. I want to ask this to both of you guys. How do you, because one of my issues would be knowing that my team is actually working. How do you make sure they're actually doing the job and not just watching Netflix or other things on the internet?
So, Phil, do you mind if I jump on there first?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because this was a big thing for me when we first started as well, because I kind of had that thing where you kind of have to be in office all the time. Because I knew what I did when I worked from home sometimes, which was I'd work for a solid 3 hours and then have a nap. Just watch a movie, go for a jog.
Who's napping now? Who's napping?
I do whatever, right? I do whatever, right? And then when I started my business, I'm I'm gonna get everybody work remotely, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop them sneak messages every couple of hours, and if they don't respond, they're napping, right? But the first thing that I realized was that even if they are napping, if I'm getting the output on time and keeping within deadlines, have a nap. I actually don't care. So the first thing I did was I had to change my mind. My mindset had to change completely, which was, it doesn't matter what they do as long as the work quality is good and the output is on time and deadlines are kept.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, is changing yourself about it. Rather
for sure.
Team itself. If you can't trust your team, then that's obviously a bigger issue. But I think it's been fine. We still do the morning check-ins, say say hi to good morning to everyone so we know everyone's there.
No, that feels sneaky.
That's
like,
my
you
little
know,
sneaks.
I'll really check in. Like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
morning. Where the hell are you? You didn't
Hello?
respond for 22 minutes.
Yeah,
Got
where
you.
the hell you been?
You're just like,
I mean, I do have a lot of.
like, get on a Zoom right now. Get on a Zoom call right now. Show me
I've been
where you
calling
are.
you. Where? Subtle, right? It's subtle. No, but like I do have a lot of notifications set up. So when things get marked off as done or things get deployed, I get little pings. So at least I know things are happening, just to keep me sane. Like it's still like I'm only 3 months into this process. Like I'm still human with it. I still need to figure myself out. But those little pings and notifications and emails and stuff just help prove that it's working. But at the end of the day, if you send off a task and it gets done faster than it did before, then you know it's getting done. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Okay, so Dave, did that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. May I now proceed into asking Phil about his post-COVID? Because that was Dave chastising me just really, really casually. Like, you know, before we go there, that's his passive aggressive way of saying, like, you know, how dare you? How dare you?
So much sass.
I'm gonna get a really angry message in a bit.
Yeah. How could you embarrass me like that?
After every episode, that's what we do.
He's a friend. How could you? No. I mean, like, no, but like we try and keep it. We've learned from the start, right? Because we used to kind of go all over the place a little bit, so we're trying to like keep it structured. So, but one thing that's really relevant, and a question that we're asked quite a lot as well from clients, from people who listen to our podcast, and mostly my parents and then people like that, is, I mean,
it's proof of me.
I mean, so now that you're going, it's what's next, right? Versus what happened before. Like, so how are you, like, maybe you can just tell us some of the things that you're going to do, that y'all are looking to do now that, you know, the lockdown's over. You can potentially see more clients coming back on board and marketing budgets are going to go up. Maybe not up, but marketing budgets are going to come
slowly.
back. They're going to come back. From zero, they're going to be like, you know, 10%, right?
$10, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the $10 is being generous, but no, what what's your next steps now? What are you going to be doing?
I'm a believer that it's going to bounce back really fast. I think generally if it's like a financial issue, like global financial issues, it'll generally build back slow because there's no trust in the space. But because this was like a pandemic, it was more kind of a health issue. People will be more willing to bounce back, and because of how hard things have been, they just want things to kind of come back. So I got a feeling that it's going to come back really fast. So for us, it's just about being first. I think like it doesn't matter too much about the campaign that you're running or what it's about or who is it for. I think it's just about being first at the moment, because every business owner right now is looking to come back to start making money again. Like who isn't? Like it's just what everyone's going to be thinking. So it's about being first and being in front, I think. And like even for us, we're running 3 campaigns at the same time, which we've never done in 8 years of our business. And it's just about pushing out content and getting everything out there first, because a lot of people are doing it, but people are doing it for short periods. Like they're doing it for a week or 2 bursts and that's it, where we've been pumping it for like 2 months so far and just keeping it going. So I think it's, even for our clients, we're doing the same thing. Like we're pumping out more emails for our clients, doing more ads, doing kind of more landing pages, everything we can just to be first, because so many clients bailed when things got rough in March. And they're the ones that are going to miss out because they're not on the space. And you can see it through their traffic. You can see it through analytics. It's all been dropping. And all the ones that stayed on are like killing it. Like some of them are doing so well. Like I want to be in that business, even though it's a completely different industry. Like, I think it's just about being first and getting out there, because there's still 6 months left of the year. It's not over yet, but it was close. But it's still time to do good.
And then, so you mentioned these companies killing it. What marketing channel are they using? What do you think has the most potential? If you had a certain amount of budget you wanted to invest in for marketing, would it be social media, Google Ads, SEO? What do you think like a company should?
I think it just depends on your industry, obviously, but for us, Google and SEO, it's probably a bit late to start SEO right now, but Google Ads and SEO are the winners for us at the moment. It's just the intent is there. Like people are Googling for that solution. So the intent's already there, where social is just people are just glazed over in their eyes and just scrolling on their Facebooks like so much and Instagram. It still does work, but I think the conversion's a lot better on, for us at the moment, AdWords is our or Google Ads, our winning thing at the moment.
Yeah, wow.
So that's kind of working for us.
Okay. Nice. So I think going back to the question before that, right? Because Dave cut me off. Thanks, Dave.
Someone's gonna be texting me later on.
I just really wanted. I want to get one in. I just want to get one in. I never get to say these things. No, but like, so I think you mentioned like clients are gonna miss out, right? And I think one of the things that I haven't done this personally, but I've seen a few of my peers in the industry, at least in Singapore and parts of Southeast Asia, do it. Like, basically, they look at their renewed success or their growth during this period, while the others aren't doing that well. I don't mean to sound crass, but as a really big fuck you to all the clients who didn't believe in them. Is that a mentality you have as well?
It kind of is, because like it is internally, like obviously we're not telling clients that, but it's kind of like we like through like we had as an agency had a tough time last year when 2 business partners left and bad employees and stuff, and we hustled harder than we ever did for our clients and kept them happy, and we asked for something in return and we got dropped. Even though they were getting good returns, they just kind of weak, like got scared pretty quickly and bailed. When some of them, like we were like really begging them to stay on, not for us but for them, because like in that whatever industry they were in, say industry X, every business person will be looking for that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
From help from that industry, and they bailed. It's like it does not make sense for that business or that industry to bail right now. Like every one of business owners was applying for these grants and loans and all these things, and they need X industry to help them do that. And why would they cut their marketing? Like it was critical point for them to do really well right now, and they bailed. It just didn't make sense to us. Like to me as a business owner, like look at it from a business owner, not from a marketing point of view, but like just as a business owner point of view, now would be your time to shine, and you missed out. And the ones who are so obscure in that space, like one of our clients sells DIY termite kits, has been killing it for the last 3 months. Like it's ridiculously doing well. And you're like, who would have thought during this time they would be doing well? And they've just like 400-500% ROI, like ROAS on it, and it's just been like phenomenal.
Okay.
And still doing well right now.
So Dave, we have the title for this podcast. Studio Culture says big F you to their former clients. I think
to all of their clients.
Yeah, to everyone, even the existing clients. F you. No, I'm joking. No, not the existing clients. They've got an email list for all the clients who left them. Yeah.
Like some of the clients, they had no choice, right? Like some of the clients, they got shut down because of the government shut it down. Like that's fair. Like travel clients.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Clients that like touch people and stuff, like health and safety. Yeah, like that stuff is it is what it is. But some of the other clients just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like
no, I understand. I mean,
I know both Terng and Phil, you guys ramped up your advertising during the pandemic, so you put more money in, even though there was less money coming in.
You have to, right? Because even though your margins might go down slightly, doesn't mean that if you stop cash flow, you're fucked. You can't stop cash flow. Even if your margins go down, you can still survive as a business. So that's what that's why I never understood that. Like people were like, we got to cut back. I'm like, you're reducing your spend, right? Your margins are staying the same, but your revenue is dropping so quickly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And we're all in marketing. Like we're always the first one to get cut, no matter what happens in the world.
Exactly.
Like, anything bad in the world, we get cut.
Oh yeah. No, I lost 40% of my business, and we had a lot of clients. I lost 40% of my business in the first, I think, 2 weeks of the pandemic being announced.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can ask Dave. Like, I'm not sure if I told you, but like, I was just basically lying in bed doing a Dave, just meditating, and just crying the whole time. It was really awkward because I was like, I'm like, yeah, don't leave. I'm like, just don't leave. I'll even tell the client,
Yeah.
don't leave. And the
What
client
are you
will be like,
doing?
we
What
have
are you
to.
doing?
They're like, we have to. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
don't leave. But like a few clients actually would call me and they'll start crying themselves up. Like, yeah, you can leave. It's okay. I understand. Like, like they're
Yeah.
crying.
We
They're
can't
crying
both
more
be
than I
sad.
am. Yeah, they're crying more than
Yeah.
I am. So I'm like, I get it, right? Like it was a
Yeah.
tough time, man. But I'm glad that you guys have been doing well. I mean, things have been picking up. I think the same thing. It's funny how like
Yeah.
even though we're in different markets, the exact same thing happened. The moment there was panic, everyone slashed their marketing budgets, and like in 2 to 3 months time, and like now the things are clean, marketing budgets are coming back. People are realizing,
Yeah.
shit, we lost 3 months when we didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so. It
And
was
now
really
it's
weird.
also new financial year as well. So their new budgets are set.
Yep.
Or for us in Australia, like we have a new financial year in July. So their new budgets are kind of laid out for the next 12 months. So now they're ready to spend again.
Yeah.
Even for the last couple of weeks for us, it's just been busy, just proposals out all the time.
Nice.
Because everyone's ready for July.
Oh, Phil's gonna
And
be
our
really
restrictions
rich.
got lifted as well. Ugh,
Phil's gonna be really
big-
rich, man. Dave, I expect you to get that check from him.
Yeah, I'll be sending him a private message asking for money. That's what I do with every
Please,
guest we have.
It'll just be a picture of
need
Dave
help,
just
man.
crying.
Come on.
Sell me. Just give me your money.
Yeah.
It actually happens, guys. So it's,
Stop blocking me, guys.
we're running out of time, but I thought I'd end because Studio Culture offers digital marketing services as well as website design and development. Well, what's new in the field of websites? Or, what should business people and companies be looking for in terms of web?
I think it's just actually having a decent presence online is the main thing. Like a good website's always going to help, but one that actually converts is more important. So even though it doesn't look pretty, it converts like crazy. So I think that's the key thing. But I think it's the key thing that people don't do with websites, what they do at the moment is just build it and forget it. And that's just not how a website works. Like you have to keep evolving it and changing it and adapting websites. It's not a static thing. So I think that's what people always forget. And we always do that with our clients. Like we keep adjusting and tweaking it if they have other services with us with marketing, because we team up with our marketing team and our web team and be like, cool, we've done all this and it should have worked, but it hasn't. What can we change to make it work? And a lot of people don't do that. So I think that's a key thing people to keep in mind when they get new websites, is that it's not a static thing.
Yeah, so I think it's a constant issue where I meet a lot of people who just feel ashamed about their website because they leave it alone for so long. Even if they at first it would have been fresh and brand new, after a while, because they just leave it alone, they kind of start to feel ashamed of it and know that they should be adjusting it.
Yeah, especially these days when it's so easy to like build websites yourself. Like you can't have a crap one because someone's going to build it on Wix themselves and it may look better than yours. Don't build on Wix though.
So don't use Wix. That's what we said. No.
That's the headline of this.
Lost the sponsor. They get the sponsors.
just says F you to Wix.
just constant headlines.
It's just hating everybody.
Yeah, so I think as Dave mentioned, right, so we're running out of time, but I really want to get a couple of points in there and Phil about you. So you're a former hip hop dancer.
I thought we're ending this.
I know, but I mean, you've been an entrepreneur your entire time, right? Like, do you have any advice for anyone who's kind of starting up their own thing? Like, what would you tell somebody who's like post-COVID? Like, what should you, if you want to start up your own thing, what should you be doing?
There is never a right time to do it. I had a few friends even ask myself, like, is it now a good time to start my business? I'm like, yeah, 100%, because there's never a right time and there's always a bad time. So it's just about doing it and getting out there and starting is the main thing, but also do something that you actually love, because when things like COVID hits and you don't love what you do, you're going to shut it down very quickly. You have to love it. Otherwise, there's no reason why. When like two business partners leave the business, like there was a serious moment where like, do I want to keep doing this on my own? Is this it? So you have to love what you do. Otherwise, you won't make it through the hard times. There will be hard times, 100% guarantee it. If you don't love it, then you won't do it.
That's true.
Yeah, nice.
Hard times from day one.
Day one.
Yeah. Yep. You gotta love it. That's true. And if there's anyone, if people want to find out more about you, where should they go, or more about studio culture? Where should they go?
It's just our website, studio-culture.com.au. Pretty sure it's studio culture across most of our socials as well. We're actually pretty active on our Instagram and Facebook as well these days. Content always. So yeah, follow us there. Don't call me, but it's fine.
Yeah, so I'll be putting Phil's mobile number in the show notes.
Personal emails, a personal email.
Anxiety.
Address. My mother's maiden name.
Yeah, all his Facebook pictures just copy and paste. Yeah. So Dave, do you want to just share maybe what Phil is happy to give away as a sort of giveaway for this episode?
Yeah, definitely. Just to celebrate. Also, we're now on YouTube for anyone listening, so check us out at Business Over Drinks. But if anyone who comments, subscribes, and then DMs us afterwards what they've commented and subscribed to, which platform, they have a chance to win 1 free social media audit with Phil and his team. They're back when I was there. I know these were worth quite a lot. So is that still true, Phil?
Yeah, they're worth, I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000 most of our audits.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So for $5,000 price. So we will pick one winner who wants to get the social media campaign audited and looked at by a panel of experts.
Yep.
So do comment on any of our posts or subscribe to us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, or any of those podcast platforms, and then send us an email at hello@businessoverdrinks.com to let us know what you've done, so we can put you in the draw. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. All right, Phil. Hey, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it. It was good meeting you, good speaking to you, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all the bad stuff Dave used to do, and you guys worked together.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So much trauma.
just really negative things he said about people and stuff.
Like therapy.
Just all the tears, man. Just all the tears.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks everyone, and have a good evening, good morning, and good afternoon.